In this video we're going to talk about the civil geometry horizontal tools, and we're going to focus on the geometry point tools. So we're going to go ahead and move into the geometry point area. And again, I'm in the, if you weren't in this file, I'm in the civil geometry horizontal.dgn file, which is under the data2 folder, data2 folder. And so we're going to move into the point section, and to get the geometry points, we go to task, we go to civil tools, go down to horizontal geometry. The second row, I'm going to right click in there and I'm going to open geometry point as toolbox. So we got two tools there. I'm going to click on the very first one. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to where my feature definition, or is it asking for a feature definition. I'm going to slide down to design. I'm going to go to design standards. Drafting standards, miscellaneous, and then I'm going to go to the bottom of that. Again, that was drafting standards, miscellaneous. I'm going to go down to the one called Kogo Point. Okay. Once Kogo Point loads up, what you can do is you can give that a name if you want to. I'm going to start off with 100, and I'm just going to come out here on the screen, and I'm going to also, before I do this, I'm going to crank this up to a 200 scale. Again, go back into the point again, and I'm just going to left click and just start left clicking out there on the screen. You can do this, store a point just dynamically like I'm doing, or you can use something like civil AccuDraw to place these points accurately wherever you need to. But just to show you, I'm going to hit the F4 key to get out of the tool. This one here is 102, this one here is 109, so it does increment the point name. It does not display the point name, it just puts the symbol out there. So there's my first one, and then second one. You can see that there is a point name. Now if you need to change the point name after the fact, you can just click on the point itself, bring up properties, and then you can change the name in this location here. If you need to also change the X and Y value or elevation, if it had an elevation, you can come in here as well and modify that. Okay, so that's all there is to storing a point. Now we're going to store equally spaced points, and this first one is between points. So we're going to go into the next tool, and I've got a little note down here. It says need to have number of points defined before defining the start point. So we're going to bring up the tool, and so I'm going to go ahead and define the number of points. Now there is a bug with this tool that sometimes it doesn't like to hold this number, and it will revert back to point number 1. And so we've got two options here. The first one is between points and a long element. We're going to do between points first. And for the name, we could do that as well. Again, we need a feature definition first. So I'm going to go into design, drafting standards, miscellaneous. Again, I'm going to do Kogo Point. And I'm going to start off with the point 200 here. Again, I've got number of points turned on, and that's 10. And so all you have to do is go out on your screen and just kind of follow the heads-up display on your cursor. Number of points, or placement method, is between points. Enter start point. Let's put right there. You can see it's working this time. I've got 10 points, and you can kind of see them dynamically trying to draw those. And wherever I left-click again, I'll have 10 points out there. So now the bug that happens sometimes, and you can when I hit the F4 key, what happens is even though I typed in 10, it'll just place 1 point in between my two data points. But the workaround is all you have to do is go to any of these points, go to its property, and change the number of points from 1 to 10 here, and you'll get 10 points just like me. It also works if you need to do some other points. Say I wanted to put 20 in there, I could also change that to 20 and then hit enter and accept it, and you can see now I've got 20 points in between my two data points. Okay. This is very similar. Store equally spaced points along an element. So I'm going to go back to that same tool. This time I'm going to use the other option instead of between points, and I'm just going to use my down arrow to switch. Once I have it to a long element, I'm going to accept it. It now says locate the element. I'm going to locate the element. We're going to do number of points. And you can see how I had 10 in there before, and it's automatically switched it to 1. That's fine. We're going to place it with 1, and then we'll come back and change the property. So I'm going to say 1 to that. Now it's asking for an offset. I'm going to say 100 feet. I'm going to enter that. I'm going to say accept at 100 feet, and you can see I've only got 1 point along that whole entire alignment. Now again, to change that, I'm going to hit F4 to get out of this tool. I'm going to click on that single point. I'm going to go into its properties, and I'm going to change that from 1 point to 10 points and hit enter. And when I do that, you can see that the 10 points are out there now. So that's all there is to that bug and workaround. You just have to go into that point properties and change the number of points. And so that's all there is to the geometry point section of civil geometry horizontal. And the next section will be geometry line.